Supergoop Unseen Sunscreen. I wear this sunscreen and I recommend it to most of my patients, not everybody, depending on what they need. Um, I know, Michelle, we both love Unseen Sunscreen. It's probably the best sunscreen I've ever seen or encountered. It's totally odorless, colorless, goes on completely clear. It's good for any skin type, which is really important. Um, People don't like, especially with darker skin types, having a white cast on their skin from sunscreen, and this doesn't um, have this at all. It feels it's silicone based. The vehicle is silicone based, and silicone, if you don't know, feels very kind of silky and smooth, but not at all greasy and not wet. And so it doesn't feel oily. It doesn't feel greasy like a lot of sunscreens do. Um, it is a chemical blocker, not a physical blocker. So when we have UV blocking, when we have molecules that block UV in sunscreens, they can either be physical blockers or chemical blockers. Chemical blockers are molecules that will absorb UV light and prevent it from getting to the skin and causing damage to our cells. The physical blockers will also absorb some UV light, but also reflect UV light. Both are good, and they're good for different purposes. I think with melasma, or people who are very sensitive, have conditions that are super sun sensitive, sometimes the physical blockers are better because they do provide a little more coverage in the UVA and visible light range. But for most people who just need a sunscreen that they like to wear, the Supergoop Unseen Sunscreen is perfect. It's very pleasant to wear, which is unlike many sunscreens that I've tried. So I think this is a really good one. Sunscreen is the most important thing that you can do every day. Beth asked if it's tinted. It's not tinted. The next one I'll talk about is tinted. Tinting is important, especially for people who have melasma or very light sensitive conditions, because when it's tinted, that means that it's covering some visible light. And the sun emits not only ultraviolet light, but also a lot of blue light. And blue light can make melasma worse and other types of hyperpigmentation. So you do want a tinted sunscreen in people who have melasma or other types of very sensitive hyperpigmentation conditions. So this one is not tinted, but many men like it to be completely untinted, and many women also don't want to have any tint to their skin. And so this is just looks like you're wearing nothing, which is great, and a really good option. The next sunscreen that I also love is another Supergoop sunscreen, which is called